Alrighty then, people. This is me talking to you about this. Creativity multiplied. How meditation unlocks innovative thinking, creative ideas, and much more. By eliminating all kinds of mental diseases such as depression, anxiety, and a few other things. Check out my other videos. What is the origin of human creativity? So, looking to win the great space race against the Cold War rival, NASA spent much of the early 1960s hiring the world's best and brightest rocket surgeons, rocket scientists, and engineers. Thank you, George Bush. Now, with a tsunami of applicants and the need to separate the list of contenders from the pretenders, NASA commissioned Dr. George Land, a highly respected University of Minnesota professor and Pulitzer Prize-nominated author, to design a highly specialized, divergent thinking creativity test. Ultimately, with the 1969 moon landings just a few years later, his test design efforts were a boon for NASA, helping them onboard some of the world's most innovative and creative thinkers, bringing the space race to an emphatic close. Unless, of course, you do not believe the moon landing, then, well, let's just not talk about the NASA thing. But let's talk about the research that went into finding the test and the creativity of the people that work for NASA. Okay? Can we agree to that? Thank you. Now, the 1969 moon landing was just a few years later. So this test separated the wheat from the chaff, right? So how did he do that? So Dr. Land and colleagues were left with a few big questions. What's the origin of human creativity? Are we born with it? Is it learned? Is it something else entirely? Looking for clues, the researchers administered the same test to 1,600 5-year-olds. How did they do? 98% of the children scored at the creative genius level. 5-year-olds. Captivated by the results, the scientists decided to do a longitudinal study testing the same group of kids 5 years later and again 10 years later. So what did they find then? At age 10, only 30% of the children scored at that same level. And at 15 years, that number had dwindled to 12%. Disturbed by the clear and present downturn, plummeted from 98% to 12% in 10 years. The scientists wondered how uncreative adults actually are. To find out, they administered the same test to 280,000 adults at 25 years or older. Pathetically, a mere 2% scored at the creative genius level. Their suspicions confirmed. So, if creativity is not learned, but rather unlearned, what's the reason? Why are 98% of us creative geniuses as children, but only 2% as adults? Right? That's a complete reversal, right? Every child is an artist. The problem is staying that artist when we grow up. That's Pablo Picasso. The truth is, our inner painter, composer, inventor, innovator, etc. gets muzzled from the day we enter our highly structured, no thinking outside the box educational system. You'll never amount to that. Painters don't make money. Artists don't make money. Stick to the curriculum. Don't deviate. What's this creativity thing you speak of? Year after year of cramming our little brains with soon-to-be-forgotten facts and figures, only to spit them back out to fill a line in the or a bubble. The standardized test really suffocates our precious life imaginations. With a school system that rewards compliance and obedience and slavery rather than originality, ingenuity, and other like things that have been destroyed, artistry, right? when it's time to graduate into the workforce or the slave force, we are, in essence, programmed robots that complain. So they're trying to fix that part now. Get your vaccine today. All right. Beyond childhood, the 2% of the creative genius still left into the adult world, then you can bet these folks are the innovative, old system-breaking and new system-making superstars topping their respective fields, whether it's technology, engineering, entrepreneurship, design, art, healthcare, business, science, or other things. That's why we look up to these people, because there's only 2% two people out of 100 are creative geniuses, which is why they're at the top of their game. And we look up to them so well. Oh, Pablo Picasso, I love you. Elon Musk, will you have my baby? Right? Yet, when we were all 5 years old, we all had the same gift. It's just they retained theirs while the rest of us had ours beaten out of us. Thank you, school system. Anyway, with some of the world's heaviest hitters having little more and sometimes less than a high school education, billionaires like Paul Allen, Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison, Michael Dell, Richard Branson, perhaps it's time we rethink our memorization test and forget educational system. Nah, that's just silly. Oh, shit. How are we going to stay broke if we freaking revamp our educational system? With our imagination entering hibernation at some point during our youngsterhood, we seldom get to experience the high euphoric flow state as adults, where in the midst of making, building, and designing cool new things, we totally lose ourselves in the creative process, where minutes fade into hours and we forget to eat, and we forget to drink, and we forget to sleep, because our creative high is all that really matters to us. This is what I talk about in the flow state videos that I've just done in January 2023. Is there any surprise that, according to a recent Gallup poll, about 70% of us are miserable with our jobs? Remember, people don't leave terrible jobs. They leave terrible leadership, terrible bosses. They'll endure the job, but they can't deal with idiots. Well, 80% of those in creative fields find themselves happy and fulfilled. What's your passion and purpose? If you don't know, go check out my book, Passion and Purpose, and also The Habituating Happiness. The world needs to be creative, which is why the education system beats us down, so we don't become creative. Now, the thing is, the world needs us to be creative. Books don't author themselves. Inventions don't invent themselves. Music cannot write itself, which we need to switch that up so it's not A440 hertz tuning. We need to go 528. But who am I to countermand the Rockefeller document for domination of the world? I mean, Jesus. Thank you, Henry Kissinger. Now, whether it's Michelangelo's David, Bell's Telephone, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Herman Melville's Moby Dick, Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Gutenberg's printing press, Thomas Edison's electricity, well, I won't say that. I'll say Nikola Tesla's alternating current electricity, the Wright brothers' airplane, Alexander Fleming's penicillin, or the Al Gore's internet, because we all know who invented the internet. Al Gore! Good job, buddy. Now, we need out-of-the-box thinking to invent useful things to create timeless works of art, to solve problems from new angles, find new cures, and so on. You know, you cannot solve a problem of today with the same thinking of today. Now, if we had kept with yesterday's brain children, then we would all be riding around in horse and buggies instead of the Uber, carrying around Zach Morris brick phones instead of the sleek iPhones, driving to Blockbuster instead of logging into Netflix, and seeking knowledge via AOL instead of Google. Without innovation, the world stands still. It's just most of the time the cabal usually capitalizes on all that stuff and controls the world. But, our ability to work and contribute to the world are also on the line to survive automation, according to multiple outlets, including the U.S. Department of Education, the World Economic Forum, and Bloomberg. Check out my World Economic Forum videos. And the jobs of tomorrow will depend on the creative problem solving. Staying relevant in today's world requires out-of-the-crucible thinking. So cliche, really, but quite true. We need creativity in our personal lives. Whether it's transforming a near-empty fridge into a hearty dinner for the kiddos, fashioning a barren closet into a last-minute Halloween costume, fabricating a heartfelt yet budget-sensitive birthday gift for that special someone, or masterminding your way to a thriving lifestyle business and getting out of the just-over-broke job that you work to support your boss's yacht. The only limit is your imagination. Luckily, we are creative by nature. It's in our genes. It's in our brains. Then what's the best way to bring our creativity back to life? Meditation. And the reasons why I could fill a library. Right? Highly connected brain is a highly creative brain. While Dr. Roger Sperry's split brain studies won him a Nobel Prize in 1981, much of the latest research suggests that rather than simply being a right brain function, creativity is actually a whole brain function. Binaural beats, people. Alpha state. Start there. As the bundle of 200 million nerve fibers connecting the left and right brain hemispheres, upgrading our corpus callosum cranks up whole brain communication, and according to the work of a world-renowned Cattolic neurosurgeon, Dr. Joseph E. Bogan, really gets the creative juices flowing. In case you caught any other news articles after detailed pictures about Albert Einstein's brain surface, right, in a 2013, to the delight of neuroscientists, a couple of unique features dropped jaws of all these studies. Right? One was the great physicist's incredible, well-connected, thick and brawny corpus callosum, ground zero for his out-of-this-world creative genius. Fortifying the brain's bridge between the hemispheres, luckily to strengthen your corpus callosum, you don't need to tape a funny-looking mustache and grow kooky hair with an unkempt, roaring 1920s professor suit, which he only had one of, or he had several of the same kind, so he didn't have to worry about what he was going to wear today. Or memorize the theory of relativity, or create it yourself. There's another way called meditation. As shown by a 2012 UCLA School of Medicine study, meditation cranks up the corpus callosum, making it bigger, stronger, thicker, and in turn more well-connected. Yes, very much like Einstein's. We're not saying that meditation will make us the next Einstein, and more about being the best version of us. Meditation helps you reach your potential better than any other medium. The great and creative brain dance. A meditation supercharged corpus callosum opens the door to what's called the creative brain dance. And what the hell is that thing? After mapping your noggins for about 163 volunteers taking part in this imagination exercise, Harvard researchers found 3 highly active subnetworks which don't typically work in unison. Keeping this short, they're the new idea igniting default mode network, or the brainstorm and idea sorting salience network, and the will this crazy idea actually work executive function network. Drivers of creativity. Another study done by a team of Dutch psychologists found that meditation stimulated very important drivers of creativity, including divergent thinking. That's where you're brainstorming creative uses for everyday objects, such as a paperclip, right? Convergent thinking, which solution would be best, and working memory, which is keeping creative ideas from flying away, and cognitive flexibility, which is openness to new ideas and experiences. On the results, the team told mindful.org, to be creative, you need to have or be trained in the ability to observe, notice, and attend the phenomena that passes your mind's eye. So, where is that mind's eye thing, anyways? Well, that is the subconscious mind. Go check out my video on the subconscious and unconscious mind. That's right. It's all linked together. Every last one of them. Accessing the subconscious. Yeah, okay. While this is focused on the brain, since creativity effectively lives in the subconscious mind, we must mention it here. We all know the iceberg metaphor, right? While our above-the-surface conscious mind is just the tip of the potential, the under-the-surface subconscious mind is where the true power resides. Everything that happens to us but never noticed in our dreams, our long-lost memories, or zillions of other data points that are held by the near-infinite reservoir that is our subconscious mind. Creativity lies in there too. So how do we unlock this treasure trove of infinite creativity, right? It requires us to simultaneously quiet our monkey mind. Go check out the monkey mind videos. Conscious mind while diving into our deeper, far more powerful subconscious mind. And that's precisely what meditation does. The chart that's here, which I'm going to have to try to describe, right? It shows the subconscious mind's ocean of superpowers. Now, how meditation helps us dive right in. Meditation's legendary impact on creativity and the ability for meditation to magnify creativity in the business world. Because that's where we make money and that's what we need. Why? Because that's what society wants us to do. Wage slavery. In the early 1980s, Walt Disney was at a creative crossroads. In hopes of accessing new creative direction, executives called in high-profile psychotherapist and meditation teacher to the Hollywood stars, Dr. Ron Alexander. After seeing the massive creative leaps by those who finished his mindfulness course, the Walt Disney Company adopted mindfulness on a broad scale. And the rest, as they say, is history. Right, Mickey Mouse? Over the next decade, with new Disneylands springing up in cities like Paris and Tokyo and groundbreaking animation patents hitting the books, and blockbusters like The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, gracing movie screens to all the world's delight. Meditation's effect on the primary companies, especially when the creative department, has been momentous. Other companies have followed this example. Since 2007, Google has offered a mindfulness course aptly named Search Inside Yourself. Apple, Nike, and other heavy hitters have also tapped into this meditation's wide spectrum of creative benefits. Creativity makes life better in every way. How will awakening my creativity change my day-to-day life? Well, creativity fuels passion, meaning, and purpose. Instead of hitting the snooze button, we spring out of bed and look forward to designing, making, and building cool new things. Trying to get back into the flow state, to get into the zone, to get into meditation. Go check out my flow state video and you'll see how it's linked in. Now, creativity has no limits. In this way, creative process forces us to expand our boundaries each and every day. In turn, We grow perpetually, and it's wonderfully fulfilling. High-level creative people know this, and they experience a sense of joy felt by a very few number of people in the world, because there are very few people. Instead of ignoring the wonderful brilliance and beauty of all around, creativity allows us to experience life through the eyes of a child. From this higher perspective, life stays forever fresh and new. Speaking of, come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. Thank you, Willy Wonka. So eloquently put, whether it's changing your life or changing the world, creativity is the key. It lives in all of us. Awaken yours with meditation. I am Nolen-John, Zander. That ends this one. Make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button on my main page, because you know you want to check out the other videos. And, of course, my sexy face, if you want that notification to let you know when I post another video and you have to see it immediately, you know you do. Hit the bell and subscribe and all that fancy stuff too. Also, go check out my website with the same name, 9elementsministry.com, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.